Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to all of the Virgos out there. If you're a Virgo sun, moon, rising, or north node, this is your tarot reading for the upcoming month of February of 2025. And in case any of you are interested, I will be using my Osho Zen Tarot deck, which has just been so on point for all of these readings. And I trust it will be the same for you. So let's see what Virgo has in store for February. Virgo, this is an interesting read. So the first card to come out actually came out upside down, so I didn't see it initially. The first card I saw was the Empress, creativity. And then the first card that was upside down, I flipped over after the Empress came out, is the Ten of Pentacles reverse. We are the world. Then we have the King of Cups, healing. The Ten of Swords reverse with rebirth. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Cups reverse, understanding. And the reason this is interesting is because the two tens reverse. Tens represent completion. They represent the end of a cycle. You've learned everything you need to learn. You're like, okay, thank goodness, on to the next one kind of thing. And I think that's where your mind might be. Like, you might be so done with a situation in your life right now. Like, you might be so beyond done. But there is still wisdom and healing to be had by tapping into what this cycle actually represents for you. Because there's a depth that you're ignoring. There's a message that you're ignoring, which we can see with the Page of Cups reverse. There's an understanding that you're ignoring. And I love the symbolism of this card in this deck because all of these doves are free and they're almost encouraging this dove to like see that they're in a cage, right? But like it's open, like you can fly away. Like the message here is a message toward emotional freedom because they're diving into the blue sky, into the white even. So even up in like spiritual freedom, emotional freedom, energetic freedom in a sense. It's a message of just take the leap because they're like, we will catch you, or you will catch yourself because you can fly, you're a bird, hello. When it's reverse, you're purposefully ignoring the calls of your comrades out here. You're purposefully ignoring the messages that are coming through from whatever this cycle represents for you. And so your mind is like, oh my God, it's been dragging on. I'm so sick of this. And if I remember correctly, I have a vague memory of your last two readings of like, I remember 2 months ago, you were in a situation that you were just bored with, but you weren't taking the steps to make the change. And then last month, did you heed the call? I don't remember. Last month, I feel like it was a similar thing where you took the first step thinking that one step was going to be a mile, but it was only the first step and there was still work to be done. I think this is a continuation of that, where it's like you've been in this cycle and you thought you did the work that you needed to do to end it, to finally just put it to rest. But with both of these together, the universe is like, there's still healing here. There's still wisdom to be had. And that wisdom can be found through your expression. And this could be creative expression, or it could just be literally you speaking out your displeasure with where you are right now. Like if you've been trying to keep it in and just, be the bigger person in any sort of situation that you may be in right now, throw that out the window. Be loud, be angry, be annoyed, be vocal about how you're feeling. And also, if you're not loud and angry and annoyed, also be vocal about that. And I think whatever you're repressing in terms of your feelings, and not necessarily repressing internally, like you might be feeling what you're feeling, but you're not expressing it out loud. I think whatever side it is, it's the opposite of what is being expressed in your environment, which is why you feel like you shouldn't impose your feelings onto others. Because either you are just so beyond done and tired and pissed off and annoyed and blah, 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 where everybody else around you is like, oh yay, like SpongeBob energy. Or alternatively, you are the SpongeBob energy. You love where you're at and you're excited and blah, 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 where everybody else around you is like, oh, like dragging their feet just to get through their day. And so no matter what side it is you're on, you feel that there's an opposition between what you're feeling and what is being expressed outwardly in your environment. So you're preventing yourself from actually expressing your truth. But there is a deep, profound healing in that expression. And it's only through that expression that you will find this cycle finally comes to an end. So it's like you may have done the work externally, and I'll use a job as an example from 2 months ago. The reading was, if you're in a job that you can't stand and you're just not doing anything about it, take the first steps. And if that first step is just looking for a new position, networking, talking to somebody that may have an in somewhere else. And then through that first step, you get to the second step where you get the interview, and then eventually you get the offer, and then you put the 2 weeks in at your current job and you find this new it's like, it's all about these little baby steps here. You've been doing that external work. You've been doing it. You've been putting in the groundwork. You've been doing what you need to do to change your external environment to be more aligned to what you imagine yourself being in, what role you want, and even if it doesn't have to do with the job, it could just be in general. Like if it was a relationship, if it was just literally your environment. Like, oh, I lived in Ohio, and no offense to Ohioans, I live in Ohio. You're like, oh, but I don't really like it here, so maybe it's time to quite literally change my location. Go to California, let's go to Florida, let's go to North Carolina, like wherever you want to go. Let's go to Amsterdam, you know? You've been putting in the work to change your external environment while simultaneously ignoring the inner alchemization, the inner work that you need to do in order to actually feel like you belong in this new external environment. Because if you change everything on the outside, but don't acknowledge like that feeling of like, ugh, like that like drudgy feeling that you may be feeling, and it could be even if you did get a new job or you did change locations or you did end a relationship or start a new relationship or whatever it may be, whatever change externally you made, you're still gonna come back to that feeling of like drudginess because that was never acknowledged. Because it wasn't just your job making you feel that way. It wasn't just the relationship. It wasn't just this one thing that you decided to project all of your burdens onto that was making you feel this way. It was a deep sense of lack of something within yourself. And until you acknowledge that thing within yourself that is causing you to feel so drudgy and just so disproving of everything and disappointed in everything and how everything's not living up to your expectations, get to the root. And you know how you do that? Through expression, through creation. The fact that these came out right next to each other, there is a deep sense of healing that will be had through creation that will help end these cycles, that will help give you the mental clarity that you need, the rest, the healing from the burnout. There is a deep sense of abundance that's waiting for you through community, through opportunity, through financial gain, through whatever it may be. Because these two cards, they're the last 10 cards of the tarot. So it's like true completion here in terms of your mental state, your position in life. But you can't get to the completion of these things until you learn to heal the root of your suffering. And that's what February offers you. And the best way to get there is through creation. Through creation and through expression. Even if you don't consider yourself an artist, that's fine. I think we're all artists in our own right. We just have to find our art. But that's neither here nor there. Even if you don't consider yourself an artist, just get some paints from Michael's, the cheap paints, the cheap acrylics. Get a cheap canvas that's on sale. They're always on sale. Love Michael's. Always on sale. Or go to your craft store of choice. I won't put political things into this video. Go to your craft store of choice. No judgment. Do what you gotta do. And get any supplies you feel called to. Paint or like knitting stuff, friendship bracelet, twine, clay, like whatever it is that you just feel like you are being drawn towards, get that and just sit with it. And this is going to be really good for your perfectionist tendencies too, Virgo, because whatever you create, it might be a piece of shit. It might not be good. More than likely, if you don't consider yourself an artist, it's not going to be good. But I implore you to sit with that thing that you created and love it. Love it with such severity. 1111. Love it with so much force. This little, like if you get clay, you make a little bear that looks like a mutant. Love that little bear with every fiber of your being. And you will find that that deep sense of loving you're projecting onto this thing is that inner child where that perfectionist tendency was born. That inner child that created something that may have gotten scoffed at by the person you were so excited to show it to. So then you became that critic. Once you heal that inner child, that inner critic, that inner perfectionist, that's when the cycle that's when the cycle ceases. That's what's been waiting for you. That's why you've been so disappointed and just so lackluster about life for such a long time, is because you were just disappointed in yourself. And that disappointment didn't even come from you to begin with. That disappointment was a projection of somebody else's disappointment with themselves that they didn't know how to heal and deal with. So what did they do? They fired it at you. And you internalized that at such a young age. And that's what you've been projecting outwardly. Not necessarily to other people. I think you learned empathy through that because you felt so bad and you don't want other people to feel bad. So, and this is only going to be relevant for some of you because Virgos, you guys can be really harsh critics sometimes. But even through your criticism of like the things that the people you love are doing, for example, you always come at it from a place of, rather than like knives being thrown at them, it's like a gentle like, hey bud, maybe you should do it this way. I think it'll be a lot better if you do it this way. So it can be condescending in a way, but like they get like the party you're giving those criticisms to know that it's coming from love rather than it coming just from like, oh, you're stupid, this is dumb, blah, 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 which is probably what you got. So there's a part of you that did heal that aspect where you don't want to be so mean with what's coming out. But at the same time, there's still that part of you that's just throwing it onto yourself, like conserving that meanness for yourself. And you don't deserve that, Virgo. You guys are brilliant. Like, you guys really are brilliant. And if you just learn to be kind to yourself and heed the message of, and maybe we can look at these birds out here as your ancestors, as your guides, as your higher self, as your past self, as your your childhood self. They are all begging you to heed the call, to just take the leap and trust in your little self. Trust in that side of yourself to get you to where you want to go and to end this cycle for you. Because ultimately, this cycle of dissatisfaction is just, that's the root. And of course, it'll be slightly different for each of you. We're all individuals, but that's the root. It's just that sense of being judged harshly when you really didn't deserve it. I want to cry. The Magician fell out. Existence. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Cups, trust. And then under the Knight of Cups is the Ace of Cups, going with the flow. And under that, we have the Knight of Wands. And under that, we have the Three of Pentacles. Holy moly, Virgo. Intensity, guidance, existence, trust, going with the flow. Oh, this is so beautiful to me, Virgo. This is so beautiful. Oh. And I love the Ace, too. The Ace and the Magician is one, so quite literally the first card of the tarot, not including the Fool, because the Fool is 0. But number 1, and then the Ace is new beginnings. So the end of this cycle is on the horizon for you, Virgo. It's there. It's on the other side of your healing and your understanding and your awareness of the importance of your healing and your ability to create and the ability to love the thing you create, even if it's hot garbage. Love it because it came from your hand. And then if you want to work on that, practice that craft. If you felt really connected to that craft, amazing. If not, experiment with a new one. It's like the universe is begging you to be more playful. To be more playful and be the creator. Be the creator of this new beginning rather than just like Because that's the interesting thing about these two cards together. Yes, it's important to go with the flow, but with the Magician and the Ace of Cups, it's almost like while you are this being in the middle here, you are also the entity, the force that is dictating where the current flows. So yeah, you can dictate which way you want to go and then just sit back and float along the current. It's not like you're just being like pushed whichever direction. But this new beginning is going to offer such intense emotional fulfillment. Oh, and it's so beautiful because this is exactly the fulfillment you thought you could obtain just by changing your external environment. But now that you're recognizing the change comes from within, you have done the healing. So much Cups energy in this too. You've done the healing. You've heeded, finally, you've heeded the call. You've gone within. You created. You've expressed yourself. And now you're at this opportunity. You're at this, not opportunity, you're at this position in your life where the cycle of disappointment is ending. And you are able now to not only sit back and relax, but navigate the direction of the flow to bring you exactly where you need to go, and to trust that where you're going with the Knight of Cups, to trust that where you're going is leading you to that fulfillment that you're seeking. Not only that, with the Three of Pentacles, it's also leading you to this divine collaboration. It's bringing people into your life that you can co-create with, where they will recognize your genius, you will recognize their genius, and you guys will be able to create this just like something so profoundly gifted. Something so unique that you wouldn't have been able to do on your own, and you also wouldn't have been able to do if you hadn't experimented with this act of creation to heal yourself. Because this act of creation for you here, and I love that they're both threes, this act of creation here is helping you heal that inner critic so that whatever you make, whatever you create in the future, you're not afraid to share with others. Because again, the Three of Pentacles is all about collaboration with others. So you also need this position of healing and coming into yourself and deeply loving that little monstrosity of clay that you made, because it's going to help you heal that inner critic that wants you to hide your work from others, that wants you to hide your genius from others. So there's so many different layers of healing that you're moving through with this, Virgo. And it all comes back to creation. It all comes back to the act of creation. And again, that act of creation, that act of loving your creation is helping you heal the parts of yourself that will need to be healed for when this co-collaboration comes into your field, into your life. Because there has to be openness with these people that come in, with whatever you're co-creating. There has to be an openness on all sides. Like, you have to be free to express your genius. Patrick, your genius is showing. Where? Oh my gosh. And then the final card I want to end on is the Knight of Wands. I have to think about it. Intensity. The Knight of Wands is passionate. The Knight of Wands is open. The Knight of Wands is moving quick, like following their intuition to jolt themselves towards this open creative expression, towards their ultimate fulfillment, towards their goals, towards what they want, towards experience, Virgo. And what's interesting is there might be a part of you that's like afraid of experience because, again, you've been your own worst critic for so long that even when you set out to do something, you were never able to fully enjoy it. You were never fully able to tap into that thing because there was always this nagging voice at the back of your mind telling you you're doing it wrong, or telling you that, like, oh, you're wasting time, telling you that you could be more productive elsewhere. Like, you were never able to be fully present with yourself or with what you were doing before. But it's healing those subtle layers, those subtle energy bodies that is really helping you to just reconnect with yourself. And it doesn't start in February. Again, this seems like a continuation. It feels like we're finally closing the chapter of the last couple months and starting anew finally. But the only way you'll get there is by honoring your healing and honoring your act of expression and taking it seriously, but also simultaneously allowing it to be play. And it's kind of difficult to explain that concept without feeling it. Because let's take the greatest artists, for example. Alex Grey is coming to mind. Very, very deep psychedelic artist. he takes his work seriously. If he didn't, he wouldn't be where he is in life. He wouldn't have created the community he's created and beyond all of that. He had to take his work seriously in order to get there. But the only way he was able to actually create his work is by being in that frequency of play while creating. Being open enough to the universe to allow these subtle energy bodies to guide him forward while he's creating. And then once he creates the thing, he projects his love, he projects whatever emotion onto it that he needs to in order to feel connected to it. And it is through that love, it's through that deep connection to his creation that he then is able to take it seriously. He's not going to sell it for $3, you know. He knows what he's worth. And it's again, this balancing act of taking yourself seriously, but also leaning into play and allowing that act of play to tap into that deep sense of trust and that deep sense of love to know what this thing is worth, to know what you are worth, Virgo. Again, so many layers of healing here. But you have the ability to make it, to make the reality you dream for yourself a reality. Period. So I don't know why, but both of my ears just started popping. So clairaudience could be important for you guys right now. But it was really distracting, and thank goodness, because we are at the end now. Thank God that didn't come earlier. But maybe that's the cue to like, okay, cease. That's enough. Oh, Virgo, this was beautiful. But of course, with everything said, this was a general reading, so it is possible not everything resonated. If that is the case, you can check out my website, linked in the bio below, or the description, whatever it's called on here, linked in the description below, and there you can book with me for tarot, astrology, human design, and numerology readings as well. If you did like this reading at all, leave me a like and leave me a comment and let me know how it resonated. And of course, we do this every single month for all of the signs. So Virgo, if you're interested in getting your forecast for the month ahead according to the tarot cards, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you guys here in the future. And there really isn't much else to say. Just create. Create and trust and heal, and 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 create and trust and heal. The cycle is coming to a close. You deserve this new beginning. You need to honor yourself to get there. I believe in you guys.